In today's video, we are going to learn one of the most important concepts in CISSP Domain 5, the AAA. It's not AAA batteries, not AAA insurance, not AAA storage. Instead, it's authentication, authorization, and accounting. Welcome back to CISSP Quick Sips. This is Nandina. So AAA framework is a very important concept, not only for CISSP, but also for the real world cybersecurity, identity access management, zero trust, and cloud security implementations. So let's begin. So this domain covers 13% of our CISSP exam, and the core concepts includes identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. So these concepts are heavily used in Active Directory, Entra ID, Okta, SailPoint, AWS IAM, multi-factor authentication systems, as well as zero trust environments. If you understand these AAA properly, many IAM topics becomes very easy for us. So let's understand the AAA framework. So AAA has three components: authentication, authorization, and accounting. So authentication speaks about who are you. Authorization speaks about what can you do, and accounting speaks about what did you do. The sequence is very important to follow. Let's take an example here. So the user confirms the identity of the user trying to access the system in authentication, and the authorization determines what resources the authenticated user is allowed to access and what actions they are permitted to perform. Authorized access. And accounting is tracks and any logs user activities for auditing, monitoring, and compliance purposes. So we give passwords, multi-factor authentications, biometrics, or smart cards and authenticate ourselves. Then we are authorized based on role-based access control or attribute-based access controls or access control lists, and always we will be given the least privilege access, that is, only the required access we will be given. Then whatever we perform, we are accountable for that. So that accounting is done using audit logs, session trackings, event logs, and reporting. So many of us gets confused between identification and authentication. Identification means you claim your identity by giving your username, for example. Authentication is the system will verify your identity after you enter a password, fingerprint, or OTP. So, it's like a password. So, in CISSP exams, they often test the difference. Next, authentication has some factors which needs to be considered. So authentication basically means verifying identity. So let's go deep into what these factors are. So this includes something you know. That means, what do we know? We know our usernames, we know our passwords, we know our pins, we know our security questions. So that is one factor to authenticate you into the systems. And the second factor is something you have. So what will we have in general? Smart cards, OTP tokens, mobile phones. Like we use authenticator apps, Okta Verify. It's something like that. Then something you are. So this is about our biometrics. It can be fingerprints, retina scans, face recognitions, voice recognitions, and somewhere you are. So our GPS location, office network, country-based access, all this comes under somewhere you are. And lastly, something you do. These are behavior-based authentication procedures. So like typing pattern, signature dynamics, mouse movement, etc. So we will be getting a lot of scenario-based questions from these factors. So always it's a best process we can say when we follow two or more factors to authenticate. Then when it comes to biometrics, so biometrics can be your retina scan, your thumbprint, your face recognition, your hand, anything. So when the system has your recognition or your pictures or the photo of your thumbprint, whatever, so it will first read and keep it in your database. And from the database, whenever you go and try to authenticate, then it will try to match the current image with the database image which is already existing, right? So while doing that matching, there are some factors which can happen. First one is false acceptance rate, which is also called as FAR. So unauthorized users can be accepted at times. That is the first thing. So higher false acceptance rate means weaker security. Then false rejection rate, that is FRR. Valid users are also rejected sometimes. So initially when we used to go to work, if we have mehendi or henna on our fingers, the biometric system will not accept it, right? Or when we apply some moisturizer, it will not take our data. So that is false rejection rate. So higher FRR also affects the usability. Then crossover error rate. This is very important for us. See, this is where this FAR and FRR becomes equal when we put it in a graphical structure like FAR here, FRR here, and we give the dynamics here. So FAR, FAR, and FRR. So this is the meeting point where FAR, FAR and FAR meets. Okay, so this is very important, and lower CER means better biometric system accuracy. So this we need to remember. Next comes our authorization. So what is authorization? It determines what actions a user is allowed to perform. In our case, a user and identity both are same. After authentication succeeds, authorization decides the permissions. So common access control model includes RBAC, role-based access control, ABAC, attribute-based access control, DAC, discretionary access control, MAC, mandatory access control, and role-based access control. So this is based on the role of the identity. This is based on the attributes like location, department, and discretionary depends on the higher supervisor who is allowed to give you access. Mandatory access control is like birthright provisioning, and rule-based is when we get assigned of access based on a rule. So in all these ways, these are few of the ways wherein we can get the authentication. Then the difference between rollback and attribute driven is this is role driven, RBAC is role driven, whereas ABAC is attribute driven. So, example for role based access control is we will have different roles in the organizations like HR role, manager role, admin role. So depending on the role which we have, the access will be provided. And whereas attribute driven, like it's based on the user attributes or device attributes, time, location, and sometimes also risk score. risk score, location, time, device attributes, and user attributes. So the advantage of using ABAC is it is more dynamic and very commonly used in cloud environments. But whereas RBAC is very easy to implement. Next comes our accountability or accounting sometimes. So accounting means tracking and logging the activities of the user. So this helps in auditing, monitoring, investigations, as well as compliance. So auditing can be done using the audit trails, SIME logs, and session tracking. So we always go and check login history when something happens, right? So that's where the auditing will be very useful. Accounting will be very useful. So accounting creates accountability because users know their activities are logged. So we will be very careful when performing any of the operations. Now let's see AAA protocols. So before saying protocols, basically what is a protocol? So this is nothing but a set of rules for systems to communicate in between each other, right? So different rules are given here under three different protocols mostly used for this AAA. First one is radius, TechAx plus, and diameter. So the features of three different protocols are given here. So radius is common in network authentication. It combines authentication and authorization, and it also encrypts passwords. Whereas in TechAx Plus, it will encrypt full packet and diameter has stronger security when compared to both Radius and TechX Plus. So TechX Plus is Cisco protocol, whereas it encrypts the full packet and separates the AAA functions. And diameter is modern replacement for Radius. It is used in telecom and TLE 5G environments. Very important exam point is TechAx Plus encrypts the entire packet. Then comes the zero trust security model. Zero trust security model says that never trust, always verify. So even the internal users must continuously authenticated and authorized. So for every few minutes, the session will be expired. So again, you have to authenticate and authorize. That is zero trust. So AAA framework is the foundation of zero trust architecture. So here are some CISSP exam tips. Authentication and authorization both are not similar. Authorization happens after authentication, and accounting supports accountability. So these simple concepts appear repeatedly in the CISSP questions always. So let's summarize our topics again. Let's have a quick recap of what AAA is. Authentication, which is nothing but verifying identity. Authorization, determining permissions. Accounting is tracking activities. So please remember the sequence and let's move to the questions. So after reading the question, just pause the video and try to answer. If you're able to answer, it's understood that you have got the clarity on the topics. So, which access control principle ensures users receive only minimum required permissions? Accountability, need to know, least privilege, and federation. Accountability is you're responsible for what you're doing, so it is nothing related to that. Need to know, so why do you want to have that access? No. Least privilege, this ensures users receive only the minimum access required. You can count this answer. And federation. Federation is no way related to it. So least privilege reduces attack surface and insider threats. So least privilege is the answer here. Let's move to the next question. Which AAA component verifies identity? Authentication, accounting, authorization, and auditing. So it is authentication, option C. It's a direct answer. Next question. A fingerprint scanner is what authentication factor? Something you know? You know your fingerprint? No. Something you have? You will have your fingerprint? No. Something you are? Yes, you can pack this answer. Something you do. You won't do anything with your fingerprint. So the right answer is something you are. Next question. Which protocol encrypts the entire packet? So we already have discussed here the direct answer, TACAX plus. Which access model uses labels and classifications? So DAC, discrete, role-based, attribute-based, MAC. So MAC is the model which uses labels and classifications. Like it uses the labels like a secret, top secret, and confidential type of data. So mandatory access uses the labels to you know to access it. Next question. What is the purpose of accounting? Is it to verify identity? No. Is it to assign permissions? No. Is it to track activities? Yes, looks good. Is it to encrypt sessions? Maybe. So in between two C and D, the correct option could be tracking activities. So you have to always try to eliminate the wrong answers and find out the correct answer. What is CER in biometrics? So CER stands for crossover error rate. So is it encryption rate, authentication speed, biometric accuracy measurement, or authorization model? So it's not an authorization model, D remote. It's not a encryption rate, A remote. It's not authentication speed, B also remote. So it's biometric accuracy measurement. This is about the AAA concept. So thank you everyone for watching this CISSP quick session on AAA framework. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment which CISSP domain should we cover next. Keep learning, keep growing, and all the best on your CISSP journey.